Reflecting on the past can be a poignant exercise, as if you're meticulously piecing together an intricate puzzle. Each incident, each moment, is a distinctive piece that slowly completes the bigger picture. One such significant moment in my life was the transition from student life to the professional world. After graduating from Berkeley, I had a heart full of dreams and a mind abuzz with excitement. I was about to step into a new chapter of my life in San Francisco. I remember the silence in my Berkeley dorm room just before the move. It seemed almost incomprehensible that I would soon be trading this familiar routine of lectures and late-night coding for unfamiliar environments, new faces and challenges. But at the same time, the idea of finally stepping foot into the professional sphere sparked an invigorating adrenaline rush. My gaze lingered over the packed boxes, the empty spaces on the shelves, the vacant chairs. A profound sense of mixed emotions washed over me. The campus that had been my home for years was about to become a beautiful remnant lodged in the deep recesses of my memory. The palpable excitement of the future was briefly shadowed by a tinge of melancholy at leaving Berkeley behind. My transition reminded me of when my family moved to the US, leaving South Korea behind. I was 10, overwhelmed by the unfamiliarity of a new country, a new language. Despite the initial struggles, I adapted, and it eventually felt like home. Here I was again, standing on the precipice of change. However, this time around, I had something I didn't have back then, experience and courage that years at Berkeley bestowed me with. As I closed the door behind me and bid Berkeley goodbye, I held tight to the priceless memories. My heart was brimming with anticipation, and somewhere in there, courage spurred me on. I felt ready to embrace my new journey in San Francisco, armed with the wisdom I'd gathered over my years at Berkeley. The change was daunting, yes, but also exhilarating in its promise of new beginnings. That was my first step into the world as a professional, a step into Silicon Valley, the pulsating heart of technology and innovation. Little did I know what life had in store for me in this vibrant, bustling city. Stepping into the bustling heart of San Francisco, I felt an adrenaline rush shot through me, a fusion of anticipation and trepidation. New beginnings can be intimidating, and this one was far from any ordinary leap. It wasn't just a shift of geography from the academic hive of Berkeley to the pulsating arteries of Silicon Valley, but rather a rite of passage. This was my transition from the comforting realms of my college to the untried landscapes of professional life. Suddenly I was thrust on the stage of prodigious ambition and relentless competition. The environment oscillated between exhilarating dynamism and frightening uncertainty. New names, new faces, it was all unnervingly alien yet profoundly exciting. I was stepping into a world that was far removed from routine lecture halls, from familiar corridors thronging with fellow students, from the predictable security of campus living. Each day greeted me with elaborate codes to solve, challenging bugs to fix. The cadence of life in the tech firm was nothing like the measured pace of academic life, yet there was a rhythm to it, a chaotic symphony that began to grow on me. My learning curve was steep, stretching beyond the comforting domain of textbooks and libraries into unknown territories of real-world coding and software integration. I was treading the path I had dreamt of during countless nights in my dorm room, eyes wide open, soaked in the soft glow of the laptop screen. Suddenly I was not just a student of technology, but an active contributor to it, not just shaping my own future, but potentially the future of many others. Yet in the midst of this profound professional awakening, there was an underlying seclusion. Old friends and familiar faces were replaced with unfamiliar colleagues and fleeting acquaintances. The bustling hallways of the tech firm, although brimming with potential and promise, lacked the candid chats and intimate camaraderie that college corridors never failed to offer. But change, I had come to realize, as constant and inevitable as the ticking of the clock, was also a conduit for growth. My transition from Berkeley to San Francisco was not merely about a geographical shift or even a lifestyle change. It was a metamorphosis, an evolution from a caterpillar in a student's cocoon to a butterfly, ready to take flight in the real world. A world that was both daunting and captivating. Then came my induction into the vibrant world of tech meetups. Funny how life works out. At the start of this journey, crushing loneliness was biting at my heels, pushing me into a shell. And here I was, walking into a room full of enthusiastic tech professionals, buzzing with vibrant discussions, dreaming in binary. As intimidating as it might have been at first, these meetups became a breeding ground for my dreams. Endless coffee and excited chatter fed my ambition and, quite honestly, my social cravings. It was here, amidst an event bustling with voracious intellects and prospective collaborations, that I met Olivia. Our introduction was hardly what you'd term as cinematic. I was hunched over a laptop, code sprawled across the screen, straining my brain to solve an intricate algorithm puzzle. Olivia was part of the team organizing the event, but found a moment to walk around, immersing herself in the chaotic energy. She saw me engrossed in my task and simply came over, extending a casual offer to solve the enigma. Unusual, definitely. Our shared love for tech led to an instant connection. As the day wore on, we found ourselves engulfed in riveting conversations about AI, coding, even the shared predicament of being strangers in a city as riveting as San Francisco. The instant connection sparked a relationship. In retrospect, it's quite ironic. I had moved cities, started a new journey, professional and personal, only to find myself caught up in the gripping whirlwind of a romantic relationship in the heart of the Silicon Valley. A newfound zeal lit up my life. Suddenly, the challenging codes had a cheerleader, the intimidating discussions, a comforter, and the seemingly lonely path seemed a lot less solitary. Life in San Francisco moved on a fast trajectory, but with Olivia, it felt as if that journey had a compassionate passenger. And just like that, in the midst of chaos and burgeoning deadlines, Olivia became a significant chapter in my San Francisco tale. Leading a project was something of a rite of passage. Being given responsibility meant being catapulted into the indispensable pillar of the project's journey. I was expected to take the reins, guide the team, meet expectations, deliver results consistently, a tall order by any standard. Sure, I was petrified. But my tech persona was, in essence, built of excitement for innovation and an unwavering curiosity. That's just who I was, even under the humongous weight of responsibility and expectation. I couldn't help but feel a tinge of thrill. Every morning, I'd propel myself out of bed, fueled by the exhilaration of making a dent in the tech world. My workspace morphed into a fortress of dreams and ambitions, percolated with the ecstasy of problem-solving, and punctuated by the click-clack sounds of fervent typing. Long hours, sleepless nights, deadlines knocking with a frightening urgency. That was my life. Standing at the crux of a fresh challenge and overcoming technical hurdles on a daily basis was an experience in itself. When I wasn't doused in relief and satisfaction, I was picking myself up, ready to tackle the next coding problem head-on. The corporate world was teaching me resilience in ways I'd never anticipated before. It was then that success graced our tireless team efforts. Our project, which once was a hazy dream, found fruition surprisingly soon. I still remember the day our project was marked a grand success. As I stood amidst the applause and congratulatory cheers, an overwhelming sense of achievement swept over me. It was the triumph of tireless dedication, countless revisions, and unyielding persistence. I had made my mark, etched my identity amongst a sea of faces. Recognition came like an intoxicating cocktail of surprise and disbelief, interspersed with a whisper of pride and gratitude. But the most rewarding aspect wasn't the applause or the growing reputation. It was the invaluable realization that I'd found my calling, my passion. In the coding world, surrounded by complex algorithms, seemingly insurmountable problems, I'd surprisingly found a sense of belonging. The professional growth I had the fortune to experience in San Francisco powered through its initial phase, running on sheer passion, curiosity, and the desire to make a difference in the tech world. The playing field was intimidating, surely, but it was also inviting. Every glitch, every bug, every troubleshooting challenge echoed the thrill of the chase, and I found myself enthrallingly drawn to it, time and time again. There was a charm in the simplicity of hiking trips, a rustic flavor that remained reminiscent of my Berkeley sojourns. Trips that provided a soothing reprieve, a rejuvenating escape from the electric energy and veneering gloss of city life. For a brief moment, the humdrum of meetings, coding glitches, and faltering prototypes was replaced by the serenity of mountain trails, the smell of the earth, and the luxury of uninterrupted time. Oliver and I decided to embark on this journey to Mount Diablo, an excursion that mirrored our shared love for nature and, may I add, an adventurous date. The early morning sun greeted us as we maneuvered the winding trails, our footsteps synchronized with the rhythm of our shared anticipation. The climb was both challenging and rejuvenating, a balanced dichotomy that aligned with the complexities of startup life. The feeling of conquering the tiresome climb was akin to solving a complex coding problem, fascinating in its own unique way. We found ourselves cherishing the echoes of wildlife, the crunching leaves under our feet, the chirping symphony of birds creating a melody that resonated with our state of contentment. It was a special connection only those who sought tranquility in the wilderness would comprehend. A clearing at the mountain crest became our designated spot for the day. As we unpacked our picnic setup, taking in the panoramic vista of the city sprawling beneath us, I could see the faint glimmer of the skyscraper that housed my tech firm, a significant emblem of my newfound life. It was a surreal vision, observing from a distance the world I was deeply enmeshed within. A world full of relentless pursuits, ambitions, and tireless resilience. As we sat there, sharing stories, I remember looking over at Olivia, her cheeks flushed from the climb, the wind playing with her hair, an infectious enthusiasm sparkling in her eyes. It felt right, a comforting familiarity that whispered promises of beautiful chapters ahead. The moment felt whole, brimming with shared laughter, unity, and mutual understanding. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky shades of crimson and amber. The city lights began twinkling, like little stars born within urban territory. We were just two souls intertwined amidst the magnificence of nature, basking in the shared love for scenic retreats. Ironically, even within this sheltered cocoon of tranquility, the underlying current of hustle trickled in as a soft reminder. The distant sparkle of city lights encapsulated my budding professional journey, a parallel trail alongside my personal experiences. It was much like my coding routines, loops of personal and professional stories iterating endlessly, finding balance in the chaotic symphony of my life in San Francisco. As if on cue, my budding professional life subtly elbowed its way into the serenity of the mountaintop. From our vantage point, I could make out the faint glimmer of the steel and glass monolith that housed the tech firm in which I was texturedly etching my existence. Amid the sea of clustered structures, it stood as an emblem, an embodiment of my fresh foray into the braided intricacy of technology and commerce. I found it almost surreal to observe from a distance the labyrinthine expanse of circuits, codes, and elfin electrons that I was deeply in the fabric of. It was a world pulsating with relentless pursuits, dangerously high ambitions, and a resilient band of code warriors, tirelessly scripting their legacies in endless lines of code. As I took in this panorama space, serving as stage to our micro-lives, I discovered a peculiar dance between our retreat into nature and the real-world symphony of San Francisco's tech pulse. It was a conversation of contrast between the dappled tranquility of nature and the churning hustle of the city, between the unhurried chirping of crickets and the ceaseless chatter of computer keys tick-tacking away, between the timeless patience of nature and the perpetually ticking countdown of tech deadlines. In the midst of the tranquil silence punctuated by nature's serenade, I found my thoughts gravitating towards Olivia, my vibrant confidant who was step by step with me in this escapade into stillness. She was an embodiment of the simmering energy that she carried within herself, a beautiful paradox of peace and vitality. In that moment, under the ever-watchful gaze of the mountain, feeling the subtle warmth of the dying sun, watching her radiant face aglow with the reflected city lights, it was as if we had always known each other, and it felt like an affirmation of chapters yet unwritten. As the sun kindly effaced itself into the evening's embrace, the city lights started to twinkle in a staccato rhythm of life. The view of the urban starscape was an unlikely muse that spurred a series of introspections. The more I looked at it, the more it became apparent that the complex mosaic of my life was made in the image of San Francisco itself, an intricate lacing of personal and professional narratives that were as intertwined as the cobbled streets below. This was my life, my coding routine, an endless loop of personal and professional experiences, each flavoring the other, trying to find a harmonious equilibrium in the seemingly dissonant symphony of my tech-filled San Francisco sojourn. My solitary pilgrimage into the sprawling wilderness of Yosemite in search of solace was a profound milestone, an enthralling start to my journey of self-discovery. Amid the towering sequoia trees cloaked in solemn silence, their gnarled branches reaching out like loving arms, I felt a sense of inherent interconnectedness, a strange link between my dreams and the wilderness stretched out before me. The stillness of the woodlands was in stark contrast to the digital universe I had relentlessly been part of, rendering advice in the form of its soft, wordless whispers. Without nature's distractions, I was free to delve into the depths of my mind, to reflect upon my journey in San Francisco thus far, the professional strides I had made, but also the personal journey that had been abruptly upended. I started to ponder upon my own innate tendencies, my newfound independence as a professional in the tech industry, juxtaposed with the crater left by the end of my first relationship as an adult. I realized that as much as I had enjoyed the fast-paced techno buzz around me, the insistence of professional responsibilities and the excitement of finding love in the city, I was prone to disguising the cracks between these differing facets, papering them over rather than treating them. This sojourn was my first step in acknowledging these cracks, to learn from the silent yet resilient mountain peaks towering above me, thriving despite the ravages of time and sustainability against the harshest storms. There, amidst the ceaseless whispering of the wind and under the wisdom-laden gaze of the evergreens, I began to dissect the fabric of my existence, re-evaluating my personal and professional existence and the labyrinthine intertwinings of the two. A newfound realization dawned upon me. Do I turn back and resume the life I had in San Francisco, or do I prepare to embark on an entirely new adventure? As I gazed at the golden-hued sunset, shedding its soft, forgiving light upon the expanse of the echoless wilderness, I could feel my soul craving for a fresh start. The parting gesture from San Francisco was a lesson in resilience and introspection. The unparalleled view from atop the cityscape, the familial bond I had formed there, the love I had experienced, and the heartbreak I had encountered, all these were powerful vestiges of my past, confrontations that would gradually shape my future. These reminiscences were indelible, yet in their echoing silence I found my answer. It was time for a fresh page, an unconventional journey into the uncharted, a voyage into a fortune untold. The majestic splendor of Yosemite, the consolation it offered, was my shove towards an unknown destiny, one that mirrored my restless spirit.